Hey guys, Andy Sayers here. Confusion. When we work with clients, we often talk about the fact that a confused mind doesn't buy. Now, I'm not sure where I heard that, but it's something that I've found to be true over the years, and that is if we make it really difficult for people to understand, or we take them into any kind of state of confusion, they're going to have a high degree of uncertainty. And if they have a lack of clarity and they have a high degree of uncertainty, which is common when someone's confused, they're probably not going to be making a buying decision. Certainly not when it comes to high ticket. Now, low ticket stuff, people might just decide, I'm not completely sure this is a great fit, but if the price is low enough, it's just worth taking a punt, taking a small risk. But when it comes to high ticket, people generally don't do that. And what you run into is, I want to think about it. And all the other stuff that people come out with, I need to go and talk to my partner, timing's wrong. Um, but usually it results in I want to think about it. And that's because people genuinely don't know what it is that they're supposed to be considering. Nobody ever says that. Nobody ever says, do you know what, you actually lost me. And I kind of lost track of what it was you were talking about, what you do, and how you're different, and all the other things that you may have had in your pitch. Nobody says that. They just get to the end and go, yep, sounds good. I'm going to think about it. And we think, oh, it must have been the price. They must have been a bad fit. But actually, when I look back over a lot of calls, it starts with confusion. Now, as coaches, when we do enrollment calls, we should be following a process. We work out a process that works for us, that we're comfortable with, that makes our prospective clients comfortable, that allows us to get the information that we need about their situation, the challenges they face, the impacts, where it is that they're looking to go, etc., etc. And we want to make that process as simple and as painless as possible. So when I hear people ask layered questions, it very often results in confusion. An example, I was listening to the radio this morning while I was in the gym, as you do, and there was the guy, the DJ or whatever you call them these days, the show host, asked a question of a guest, and it kind of went, so what's going on with you or in your country or whatever? Is it this, is it that, or is it the other? And by the time he had finished, the guy said, sorry, what just remind me what the actual question was. He could remember the options, but he couldn't remember the questions. The same goes for very long questions generally. So when people say, would you say your problem is this, or is it that, or would you say it's that, it's something else? Which one do you want people to answer? Because they're probably only going to ask one of them. So it makes sense that you just ask one really simple question that you want the answer to. And when you get that answer, you can ask another simple question or another simple clarifying question to either drill down or to move on to something else, or to understand more about whatever the impact of that issue is or whatever. So it's all about simplicity. And as when we work with clients, we try to keep the whole thing as simple as possible. So everything from how to open a call, how to do the questioning, how to understand what's really going on, how to understand what people's goals are. And then when it comes to doing the pitch, simplicity rules, keeping it concise. Now, why do we do that? Well, we find that if you give people just reams of information, it can become overwhelming. People can't possibly take it all in. Whilst we might think that the bells and whistles and infinite detail of our approaches, our programs, and whatever we're calling it, we think it's brilliant, the person on the other side just wants to know, is this the right person for me? Is this approach going to get me the outcome that I need? And if the answer to those two things are yes, then hey, big ticks in boxes, you're pretty much halfway there. But half the time it just gets lost in this noise of, and we do this and we do that, and we've got this feature and that feature and da 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 da. And the whole thing starts to sound like a total sales pitch. rather than you mapping on your approach to what it is that they say they need, and your approach is going to get them where they want to go. But too much information ends up with a confused mind, which ultimately comes through to, I want to think about it, or just somebody isn't buying. And they, as I said earlier, they're never going to say to you, actually, you just confused the hell out of me. I've listened to probably thousands of calls now, and I've never heard someone say, actually, I was just confused by the whole thing. But what you do here is, I want to think about it, followed by somebody in need of help drifting off without getting said help, because they didn't really understand what it was that coach was offering. So when it comes to your enrollment calls, simplicity is key. A confused mind doesn't buy. So just keep it concise, keep it straightforward, and make it easy on yourself as well in the process. Any questions, let me know.